welcome to the Pitch of Discontent. Owen back for another guest episode, joined in the studio by two fine gentlemen. We have Matt from Hellions and guest co-host, friend of the show, it's Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Owen. I've missed you.
We will get into why Chris is sitting in on today's episode, but Matt, thank you for coming through.
My pleasure. Pleasure to meet you.
Let's kind of recap what everyone's been up to. How's your week been? What have you been doing, Matt?
I've been working. I work for a merchandise company called Artists First.
Okay.
And yeah.
Very familiar with Artists First.
You are?
Yeah, of course.
How so?
I just see kind of like band merch and distribution and stuff for it.
I work in the touring sector of the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like getting stuff ready for like distribution to different like tours and stuff that are happening?
I work mostly with merchandise sellers and
Okay.
also deal with the shipping of boxes, just checking on boxes in the sky, making sure they're at the right places.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
I think I just accidentally kicked the dog.
He's fine. He's fine. He's just sniffing around there. He's just hanging out. Unless he cries, he's fine.
No, he seems good. I beg your pardon, man. What was the question?
I said, how long you've been working with Artists First?
I think it's been nearly 3 years.
Okay,
Which
cool.
Is, yeah.
You liking it?
Man, I love it. Yeah, just the people there in particular.
Reese is a big fan of Chris. They've met many times. Old friends.
Yeah.
Chris, what about you? What have you been up to? You've done a lot of shows.
Yeah, off the back of 4 shoots in 3 days, and
You did a music video.
yeah, for Melting.
You did like 3 live shows.
Yep. And then getting ready to go to Sydney for my best friend's wedding, in which I have to write a best man speech.
Oh.
And when I say write, I mean wing it. I've got the dot points. I know the beats I want to hit. It's just I'm not gonna overthink it.
Okay. From experience, I highly suggest not winging it. I've seen
No, bro.
I've seen guys crash and burn.
No, bro.
I got you. Send me the dot points, and I'll workshop something for you.
Okay.
And I'm assuming the groom is not watching this, so he will not know.
Oh, he knows.
Okay.
I told him. We were at the Bucks, and I was just like hammered. Like, I need you to know I'm not. It's off the cuff, and he quivered a little bit.
Of course, it's a special day. He doesn't want anything to go wrong, and you're like the X factor that could go either way. I've seen some bad ones, so
Hopefully I end up as one.
Okay,
and I can get some viral money.
Okay, if that's where you want to be.
You do drink alcohol yourself?
I have recently decided to stop, just to take a break for a while. But his Bucks weekend and the wedding, all bets are off.
Yeah.
It was like the day after the wedding. I'm tour managing a band called Dissect for their run with Spite. So I'm going to show up hungover to that and remember how much I don't want to drink on tour.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're a busy guy. You've been doing a lot of stuff, but we have had you helping out on the show many times, often for festival coverage and for live photos and bits and pieces. So like you're a longtime friend of the show. You and I were chatting, and I was like, oh, hey, by the way, I've got Matt from Hellions coming in. And I did this because I knew that you're a big Hellions guy from way back. And then that's when you were like, hey, can I come?
Can I just look like I'm checking the focus on cameras?
But I was like, well, if you're going to come, you have to sit in the hot seat. You have to actually be on mic. So you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Have you met Matt before?
We have met in passing at shows.
Okay.
The first time I briefly met you was at a hardcore show at the Kindred Band Room. And I was like, who's this guy walking through the pit with a glass of wine? And
Oh my God.
I was just like, holy shit, it's him.
That's a dignified gentleman.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah, you were super polite and super friendly, which was awesome.
Pardon me for not... Well, I mean, by the sounds of things, I shouldn't be remembering.
I'm finally at a point where I don't remember what day of the week it is. And
That's a relief to me in this instance.
And the most recent time I met you was Clay J Gladstone headliner at the Tote.
Yes.
And I think you were doing merch for Chasing Ghosts.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, sure. There we go.
And I didn't stop to say hi because a friend, I was shooting a show before that, friend gave me a durry, went to the show, to that show to take photos. Clay J put the durry in between my glasses
Yeah.
and
Cool.
just rested it there.
Yeah, nice.
You say cool.
Hard look.
I sweat through the durry, and the nicotine was getting absorbed into my temple. And like halfway through the set, I was like, "Oh, I'm really feeling this. What's going on? This set's great."
Kind of like a
you could really feel the go through your.
like
Yeah.
I didn't know.
like a blind man's Nicorette patch.
Oh.
Just like through the skin.
So yeah, like I went to say bye to everyone, but I was like gritting my teeth and was like, "Oh, it's so good to see everyone." And I saw you, I was like, "Love Hellions, bye." And just fucking left.
Now, for what it's worth, I was particularly and unexpectedly drunk that night.
Yeah.
You know, Slim Krusty?
Yes.
Roscoe?
Yeah, Roscoe.
I'd seen him for the first time in a long time that night, and that ended up being
A
just
very loose experience.
monumentally loose.
Yeah.
Like, just
He's a loose unit, that guy.
he is.
I've tried to get him on the show numerous times, and very hard individual to pin down. He's always doing stuff.
He's a man about time. But
Yes.
he's a good man. He's lots
Great
of love
fella.
for Roscoe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to drink like he did, not so much anymore. I mean, like, I do on occasion, and I can, you know.
Yep.
But you tried to that night, and it was kind of, and we did successfully, I suppose you can say. But it was just maybe like I don't know, like 12 shots each, like in between like drinks. And
Rough.
going to work the next day was just, I was incommunicable. Like I couldn't, like kind of just like at my desk, like with my head in my hands for most of the day. I should have.
Yeah.
It'd have been better for the company if I didn't come.
Oh, that was me after the Bucks, where I just showed up because I work at SBS in Melbourne.
Oh,
All my team's in Sydney, and the Bucks was in Sydney. And I got to the office and sunglasses on, chewing gum, and they're like, "What time did you wake up?" I was like, "Got to go to bed to wake up." Anyway, let's work. And just was hopeless all day.
good on you for doing it, though, man.
That's real work ethic.
It's a testing
Yeah.
factor.
Good
Yes, it
stuff.
is.
Yeah.
Slim's kind of work ethic is kind of astounding to me. I think I saw him for the first time right before we moved to Melbourne, and I'm fairly certain it was an Agnes Manners show, and he opened,
You did.
and it was incredible, and that was my first like experience with him and his music, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And then like following him and just his online presence, like there was that run of shows that he did where he was like passing a bowl around and people were just putting like ciggies and Dexies and various things, and he was like, yeah, we got a good haul tonight, and I was just like,
Far out.
that's fucking loose.
I
Just
actually
like
hadn't heard of it.
open sourced, just like
Yeah.
help me have a good time.
Oh my
Put in
God.
whatever you feel, and it's like that's a sketchy way to roll things, but whatever. He's a unique character.
I remember Johnny Trophy Eyes had done a similar thing once. I think he said it was Unified, and this is back in the day when he was a bit looser.
Mhm.
But he's not at all loose now. He's a very
He's a
firm-
fighter.
He's a firm man.
That's
Yes,
right.
he's a firm
Hard man.
Yeah.
Hard man. Hard times make hard men.
Yeah, absolutely did. But he asked everybody to throw up the drugs that they had onto the stage, which is, and you can imagine however many people pegging, like, you know, the little like drug bags.
Yeah, little baggies and shit.
Yeah. I'm not sure like the degree of success that he had, but he did say that there was like quite a bit of crap like making it onto the stage.
That's insane.
One of my favorite stories.
That's so sick. Let's kind of dig into why you're here. So, after a long absence, you are back with Hellions, and you're getting ready to do a anniversary tour for Opera Oblivia, and that'll be pretty much coming out by the time I publish this and edit it. So I'll try and sync those things up. But to kick things off, I wanted to kind of talk to you about the period of time between your previous project, which was like a solo project, Agnes Manners, when you decided to kind of put that to bed and then pick up the mantle with Hellions again. Can you kind of walk me through that Is there any overlap there? Kind of what's the story?
It's a funny one. I was in one of those times in your life where you just don't know. You feel like you're not on the right track, I suppose. And it was kind of, and that was for me at the time, a relationship that I was in where I loved the person very much, and also, and that wasn't feeling right, and that's always a hard thing to do, to end a relationship.
Yeah.
So it was that, and then, I was really just going through it, like who am I sort of thing.
An existential moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose that was like the primary thing that got me moving, I suppose. And so, hard thing to do, ended that relationship, and then kind of like looking inwards, like what else can I do without, or like how can I make room for something new, I guess. And looking really hard at Agnes, it was kind of, it was necessary. The whole thing was necessary for me to reach this place. But at that time, I kind of, I realized that it wasn't what I wanted, and it kind of felt like pushing a boulder uphill to get
a Sisyphean task.
Absolutely. And I think that once I'd done that, and sort of just like, well, you don't have to do that, and you can lay it to rest. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's served its purpose.
Just kind of like jumping off that point, was it that you felt like all of the creative pathways with Agnes had been kind of exhausted, and that there wasn't really anything kind of presenting itself to you? Or was it more the task of trying to like forge one of those pathways felt too exhausting, so you were like, I'd rather just put it to bed?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
It was much more difficult than I'd anticipated toward the end, like to get things going for that, because it was an entirely new avenue for me. I'd never done anything like that. Obviously, just doing Hellions in the band before that, The Bride, which Hellions had sprung from. It's essentially the same band with a different singer. It was just like the next level.
I kind of went on like a little YouTube spree today, and I was like listening to The Bride, listening to a bunch of like Hellions tracks, and then I was listening to Agnes tracks, and I was like, man, Matt has been through some stuff. Like he's got a lot out with his songwriting. But okay.
Thank you for listening to all
That's
that.
all right. I gotta
I
talk to the man. I gotta understand where you've been, what you've been doing.
Yeah, I'm very appreciative. Where was I? So I realized that it was time. In answer to your question, it was, the path was difficult, and I kind of ran out of steam with it for sure.
Yeah.
But more than anything, I just realized that it was kind of, when music is difficult to make, it's like I love to make music, and that's what I do and have done since I was 14. So it was, when that became like a task, it's like, well, then that's, there's no love there. It's kind of got to, not that there's no love, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of pill to swallow, but that's the way it was. And so I did that, and then there was more of a vacancy for me. And there's, a lot of pain in ending those two things. But
for sure.
I was speaking with my friend Dylan about, he was talking about how it's going to be the Opera 10-year anniversary this year. And this was about this time last year, maybe February last year. And I don't know what it was about that conversation, but that kind of got through to me, like that. I was like, maybe that'd be a good thing to do, because
kind of like a neat kind of milestone to kind of like that might be the right time.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I do get a lot of messages asking about that, or I did, about like 10 years is coming up, and are you going to do something? And also just general, like what's going on with Hellions. Like,
I mean, just to put a pin in there, like Chris and I have definitely had that conversation, like privately, because we were talking about how Chris is a big Hellions guy, and I think last year I was like, Opera turns 10, like surely they're going to come back for that. And that was when I started to hear rumors of you guys doing a couple of one-off shows and getting things back together, and I was like, it might be happening. It might be time. So, I think, you're certainly not the only one wondering whether that was going to happen.
Yeah, man. And that was so endearing to hear that so many people cared. But it took my friend saying that at the moment that he did for me to go, it's like, I'll reach out to the guys, which was kind of a nerve-wracking thing to do after a few years of, not that we weren't in contact, but just kind of, not in the way that we had been, because I'd known since we were, Anthony the drummer since I was 15, and then Dre probably 16, 17 maybe, around that time.
Crazy.
So I'm 35 now, so it's been and we know everything about each other, and that bond is so so deep, and also I guess like the hurt on both sides is pretty thick as well for something like that. Like we toured the world together and did all these wonderful things together, so it's hard to approach that. But yeah, I finally got the guts to do that. Call Anthony.
Yeah.
I was fucking nervous.
Yeah, so I was listening to a friend of the show, Lachlan Watt, his podcast, Music is My Life, did an episode with you, and you and Lachlan are good friends, so there was a lot of good discussion in that episode. But specifically that moment, you talked about like having that phone call and it being an incredibly like nerve-wracking, awkward thing to do. I guess like what was your mindset going into that? Were you like steeling yourself for it and you're like, okay, like let's just do it? Or did you just like start the call and you're like, fuck, it's happening. Okay, I got to commit. I can't hang up.
It started in the morning. I was at work and kind of, I don't know where I got the confidence from, but I was just like, I'm just gonna
do it.
Get all the guys into a group chat that I haven't entered in 5 years or so.
Incredible.
That's a crazy move.
Yeah, I don't
just
know
move
why
that chat from the bottom of the phone to the top of the phone.
Yeah, dude. I don't know why I was like particularly confident that morning, but I was kind of just like, just like, whatever. Like, just sent the text really like laissez-faire about it. And then I think like an hour went by without hearing anything. And then that natural like kind of panic. And then I just thought, it's like, there's probably like another group chat going on without me. And then like, and they're probably like teasing me or something. I've like, like thoughts like that.
Of course.
And then it kind of, so like the next, after that hour, it was kind of like a little more arduous. And I was like, fuck, maybe I made a fool of myself.
Of course.
You think,
well, the like self-doubt and stuff creeps in.
Yeah, and then there's the other voice like, oh well, it doesn't matter. You gave it a shot, and that's good.
Yeah. But obviously things went well. So
things went well. Yeah. Anthony wrote back after a little while, and then we spoke later that afternoon. And yeah, man, it was. I don't know how it was for him actually. I haven't spoken to him about that. Like subsequent to the fact.
We need to get Anthony on the pod. Be like, what was the other end of that phone call like?
Yeah. If I find out, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
But I was certainly nervous, and at the end of the phone call, we were both kind of like where we were when we felt like where we were when we started. Like we were kids again, and
that's
just
awesome.
talking about. He had a son, which is we hadn't been in contact for a little while. So now you've got a little boy, like that is, that kind of made me emotional,
Of course.
This person that I love is, he's had a boy.
You've known since like high school.
Yeah.
Now he's got a kid. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. And then that kind of, eventually we got to the shows and then to new music, which was kind of like the turning point. I can't remember who brought it up, but whatever the case, I was unexpectedly enthusiastic. Like I didn't even know how enthusiastic I was. Like we started to talk about it, and I was like, I really want to do that. Like I would love to make music. And
here's a question for you. Like retrospectively, do you think putting Agnes to bed and having, like what you said before, like this need to make space in your life, both like creatively, personally, in various ways, do you think that was a necessary thing to allow even just the possibility and the potential of not only playing with Hellions, but doing new music? Like, did you have like any kind of idea of like, if this goes well, I'm going to need that space? Like, was there ever a thing in your mind of like, oh, I could do both?
Both Agnes and Hellion?
Yeah.
No, I hadn't even really, like when I made the decision to.
Sounds like they were very kind of like separate.
They were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was. Yeah. When I decided to put Agnes down, that was a very separate. That was just for me, like to kind of like it was just, pushing that boulder up the hill, and it's like, okay, I think I've done enough. I've done what I needed to do.
Yeah.
Or I feel the way that I needed to feel.
And there's a bit of kind of like artistic power in being able to like end a project on its own terms, because like so many projects like kind of peter out or flame out or explosively kind of like self-destruct, whereas like having something that's yours and being able to be like, it started here, I'm choosing to end it here, and there's kind of like a freedom in doing that, I would imagine.
Yeah, man, there is absolutely one that I didn't expect actually. Yeah, because you can only be so sure because you've done X amount of songs, records, X amount of hours, money that you put into it or whatever, and those things have some weight But yeah, deciding to go against those things and realizing that it doesn't really matter is kind of it's a very liberating. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing actually. It was a beautiful experience to play the last show and to kind of say goodbye to it. Being proud of the songs. For the most part, so I got some whingy cuts in there, you know. That I'm not too like. They're fine, you know, but I'm not going to go back and listen to. It's kind of like, oh, it's a little
the sappy stuff.
Yeah, a little too sorry for yourself at that point in time, or something.
A little bit too raw.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You get a little bit older and you a bit more perspective. And you're like, well, that's that wasn't. That's just a rite of passage.
Fair enough.
Validation, what's the difference now? You should have said that, turn paradigm upside down. You could be happy if you wanted to be. Don't feel obliged, you're living a life you never wanted to. The best way out is straight through the intuition measure. You could be happy if you wanted to be.
We will get into the new music and kind of where the project is at the moment in a little bit. I kind of want to throw things over to Chris now. So, Chris, when I told you that you could come and sit in for this chat with Matt, was there any kind of anxiety or trepidation about, like, I don't know, being on a podcast with a band that you've been listening to for like a decade?
Yeah. Like, To get the brown nosing out of the way, Hellions is my favorite Australian band.
Thank you so much, dude.
Like,
thank you.
People before, like, when I grew up on the Central Coast, worked at JB Hi-Fi at Erina. Shout out Erina, I guess. But like, there was a point where like I had bought so many shirts that someone pointed out I wore a different Hellions shirt for 2.5 months of work.
Oh my God.
And they were like, how many do you have? And it was a point where I was like, oh, I've actually spent a lot of money. Whoops, daisy. But fuck, what was the question again? I zoned out.
I mean, like...
Oh, yeah, no. And Hellions has been a very, like, formative band. I grew up deaf in my left ear. And so music for me is very tricky to understand. Whenever, like, even filling in for a band next week, I don't know what they're saying in Ends in Tragedy. I don't know. I can just hear the music. And it's the same thing with Hellions, where for the longest time, I didn't really get it at first with Die Young.
It's very shotgun blast.
Yeah.
Like in The Simpsons where Marge with the...
the makeup gun?
It was a little like that. It's kind of just like...
Yeah, and...
Keep going, Chris. I'm going to check the camera frame.
And part of that is because I was only hearing guitars and drums. And I was like, okay, well, it's not clicking yet. And it wasn't until I went on the Unified Boat Cruise that you guys headlined.
Yeah. Man, was that in 2015?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. My
It's
friend...
11 years ago.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like that long ago.
No, it's very strange. But my friend Alex was like, just come along. I know you don't like them that much. By that, I mean, like, just wasn't listening every day. But he knew I liked the opener Punch Dagger, which I don't know if that's a familiar name, but I still listen to them a lot.
I imagine that's an extremely niche, like, Central Coast reference.
No.
Sydney reference?
They were from Sydney. I don't remember where exactly.
Okay.
But it wasn't until I saw the community of fans and people and, like, Indian Summer hadn't come out by then, I think.
I think it had just come out.
Oh, yeah.
It was, or, yeah, maybe not very... The launch might have been very close to that show.
Yeah, I can't remember what side of the launch it was on, but during... I think you guys played Technicolor Yawn, which is just the drum circle part of the song. The album, sorry.
Like second part of the...
Yeah.
Creasy.
Yeah. And seeing everyone just sit and just chill and just watch everyone like vibing out. And I was like, okay, I'm clearly missing something. And going from that, listening to the music, but also reading the lyrics at the same time, it kind of made me understand more, because the Hellions weren't just we're just here to be heavy kind of band, which there's nothing wrong with. I love that. Anything with a breakdown, I'm banging my head, throwing hands up, trying not to hit people because I love motion. But like, you're a band with more to say than just some really cool music. And I found that to be very important, and also very misunderstood from my friends and whatnot. So for going from that show, listening to Indian Summer, meeting people who liked Hellions, it was the first time like I started to find a community of people that like the same music as me.
Yeah, man, that's wonderful for us to have been able to play a part in that. That's
Yeah, and I think to what you were saying earlier, where people are messaging you about 10 years of opera, I wasn't one of them. My God, do I not want to punish you guys about that? But I do think that speaks volumes to, you're not like the cold chisel of that genre of music kind of thing, but like Hellions still has such a like brick in the foundation of Australian music.
We are so lucky.
Yeah.
Isn't that a wonderful thing? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We played a Brisbane show at the end of last year, and then New Year's at Crowbar in Sydney, and it didn't feel like like they were nostalgia shows or anything like that. It was kind of like what you were describing, man. Like it was kind of just like almost like a coming home of people that appreciate what we speak about in the music, and it was beyond humbling, and we didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah, and it's I did hear you say it on Lachlan's podcast about like Hellions having the best fans, and I'm sure there's best fans somewhere, but like people who like Hellions love Hellions and love meeting other people who like Hellions.
Yeah.
And just seeing a Hellions shirt and going like, my man, and then making a new friend at a show, because you're gonna make a new friend if they like Hellions.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh, man, that's so fucking cool to hear that.
Yeah, it's like,
because you think that you see that from our perspective, but it's like you're unsure as to how real that is, like your perception of it is, because of that thing is like everybody's fans are so, every band will say that their listenership is the most dedicated. And you feel
this is our favorite place to play.
Yeah.
Not in that way, but just like, I feel like you understand me. It's just, we feel that it's such a special thing, and we have such a bleeding heart for all of our listenership, and I know so many of our listeners, like speak to them regularly on Instagram or via text or whatever, just because I've grown to almost love them for how much they love our music, because our music is such a big part of our personalities, and particularly mine is a lyricist. Primary lyricist is a very it's like, oh, I'm understood by you. It's like
it'd be a very gratifying thing. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But like to you saying that, thinking about it, the people who I'm closest with in my life, all Hellions fans. Like, might not put it on all the time, but the second it comes on, we're talking about like, fuck, how good is this, bro? And just wanting, obviously more, but like, I'm sure we're all stoked with 10 years of opera. I know I am.
That record in particular, like, I was doing a lot of music writing at the time, and I have always kind of been like, I guess like a fan from afar. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Hellions live, which is kind of odd in terms of like big Australian acts that I haven't seen. Yeah, I remember like doing writing for different publications in Australia, and talking to my colleagues and other writers and stuff. I remember when Opera came out, and they were like, man, this is the record of 2016.
Yeah.
Like, this is the Aussie record. And I was like, you reckon? And they were just like, 100%. And I was a little like affronted because I like the ego of me is like, I would know what the record would be. How dare they tell me that there's something I've been sleeping on? And I remember listening to the record for the first time and just being like, oh, I was like, this is so much bigger and more theatrical and more kind of lived in as a record than I had any idea from just seeing music videos and kind of just knowing what the band was of like, you know, like hardcore dudes playing like punk music. So
we're definitely pegged as like the I think Ocean Grove and ourselves is like this like 90s resurgence.
Yeah.
Thing and kind of
I didn't get any of that.
It's a little bit of a pigeonholing.
Yeah.
We've had a great run, not to complain, you know.
No, I mean Ocean Grove are doing great, running with it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
but I can understand your hesitance to delve into it.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. Like whenever someone tells you, like there are people with taste that I respect greatly. So when they're like, "Hey, you need to listen to this record," I'm like, "Okay, I'm on it." And then when it comes to like very specific like regional local stuff, for me to like think that I've like missed the boat on a band, I'm just kind of like, no, that can't be right. And I had my ego checked immediately. I was like, oh shit, this is a crazy fucking record. Because like 2016 was huge because I remember Trophy Eyes put out a phenomenal record that year. And I think you was looking through the Instagram just before you rocked up, Matt, and you were posting some photos of recording Opera in Thailand.
Yeah.
And I saw John in the photos. So was he there for the recording process?
Yeah, man. So such a magical period of time. So our engineer, producer, Shane Edwards, we started working with him in Blacktown, New South Wales, Western Sydney when we were... so I did my first record with him when I was 15.
That's crazy. That's 20 years ago, dude.
Yeah.
That's 2 decades.
Yeah, bro.
Jesus. Okay.
Pretty funny. But yeah, and Trophy Eyes are recorded with him, with Shane. I'm not sure from... John might have been in his late teenage years, I think. It was, at any rate, it was when the Bride's full-length record was coming out. Trophy Eyes, I think, debut EP was coming out.
Mm.
But it was, we both had this very special relationship with Shane, and then Shane moved to Thailand in, I think, 2012 thereabouts, or 2011 perhaps.
Right.
But so Trophy Eyes maintained that relationship with him, and they did Men Move On with him in Thailand in, I might get the years wrong. Maybe that was 2012 as well.
I feel like that's 2013.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, 2014 for Men Move On.
That feels right.
Yeah.
But at any rate, so we were both booked like back to back. It was Hellions and Trophy Eyes to record their was it their second record and our third record respectively.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. So we did Opera Oblivia, and then they straight after they were nearly overlapping. So Trophy Eyes began recording Chemical Miracle as we were mastering Opera Oblivia.
That's crazy.
And we...
Crazy run for Shane. Like 2 iconic Australian releases like back to back.
Dude, how significant is that he did those 2
Yeah.
back to
That's
back?
huge.
And to be in that space and to remember that as well, like how it felt to be there, and because you don't really understand at the time. It's only with retrospect that you
Of
kind
course.
of like, feel the magic of like, that was like, what the fuck was even going on? Like, that was, and for those 2, that's kind of more than a coincidence or there's something more to that, those 2 records being produced from that, back to back in this place at this time. It's pretty wild, man, because that was, we played Opera Oblivia 2 Trophy Eyes when we finished it, and I remember it's very dear to my heart. John, when we played it, John was like, what the fuck was, like, he was really like enthusiastic, and that's because I have such a respect for John.
Yeah.
Still, and particularly then. Same, particularly now as well.
Shout out to John.
Yeah, we love John. But that was a very special moment for me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I remember hearing their record when it had come out, and then just like, kind of like 90% just like so stoked for them, and 10% like fuck, like how did they how could that happen? Like, you know, really feeling that we'd done that record for us, and that it was just such a wild time. Like, you know, we just like so astounded by their record as much as we were by ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are the odds?
What are the odds? So at this point, you've played a handful of reunion shows with Hellions, and you're obviously, I would imagine, doing like rehearsals and getting ready for this tour that's coming up as the anniversary of Opera. What's it like, kind of, I guess, on two levels? One, just being back in Hellions and picking up the stick and playing those songs again, but then also like revisiting those specific songs for all the reasons that you've just touched on, like the emotional kind of like baggage that record has for you. To come back to it, you know, 10 years later, what does that feel like?
Yeah, good question, man. That was, we actually haven't started rehearsing as a band together for this upcoming tour.
Okay.
That'll begin next week, I believe.
Right.
But even just doing the shows that we've done at the end of last year, start of this year, it was muscle memory is such an amazing thing, man. Like that's like, for some of those songs, like when I was sort of nutting them out, there's a couple of songs I had to go onto YouTube to watch myself play them.
Unreal.
Yeah, you got some crazy riff style.
Thank you,
It's
bro.
so hard to figure out, like in the best way possible.
Yeah, I think it's just like undiagnosed ADD at the time.
Yeah, well, fair.
Just like,
Yep.
yeah, I don't know, and like a huge dose of just pure obsession and not doing anything else. But, I was amazed, like just what my hands would kind of, you know, these really crazy, like strange, unusual shapes that it would just remember, you know, as like trying to, obviously it would take a couple passes, but
For sure.
you lean towards the right section and then kind of just,
It
the more
happens.
you relax, it kind of happens, man, which is so, I definitely had to get my chops back up because I hadn't played like metal for a while.
A little bit more
you know?
intense than the Agnes material.
Yes, sir, much
Yeah.
more.
little bit busier on the fret. Yeah.
I think a good way to put it, to put a lid on it, JC, our guitarist, was saying at rehearsal, we did one like run through of the set, and he was like shaking his head and kind of had his hands on his hips. In my memory, he's like, "These are young man songs, bro." And that was after like playing Creasy and those songs in particular, because that's like a whole different kettle of fish.
What guitarist like I guess inspired you in a way to write like that? Because it does stand out. The patterns aren't like normal, like Australian metalcore or hardcore chucks. There's different patterns. Running out of my vocabulary here, but it is just a very unique style that you play. So I have always wondered what guitarists you grew up fondly listening to.
Darren Malakian or Malakian, System of a Down, was the first like big one for me.
Yep.
Right.
And then I think My Chemical Romance was huge for me as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like a huge touchstone for Opera Oblivia.
Yeah.
I remember like the reviews at the time, like my colleagues and stuff in music press, like they were calling it like the Black Parade of like Australian heavy music.
Yeah.
I was.
Exactly.
I was. So for a quick side quest, at the Opera Oblivia tour, you guys played 2 Sydney shows, and one of them had a VIP signing that I paid for and went to.
Oh man.
Incredible.
And bro, like it.
Do you
Like,
still have the stuff, the signed stuff?
we can touch on that later.
You should have brought it in and got Matt to sign it again.
No. Actually, no. I do still have some of the records. But like that was because you know me as me now.
Yeah.
Back then, oh my God, I just was not this person
Sure.
at all. Like, far from it.
There's
The
not this Adonis that you've seen before you.
Editor me will trawl through Chris's social media to find a 20,
dude, I'll just give it to you.
a 2015 photo. of Chris,
I'm
which we
sure
will
there's a
insert
picture
here.
of me somewhere, probably wearing a Hellions shirt.
Yeah, incredible.
I can't wait to see.
It
Yeah.
was like, but I was so nervous and anxious. The only thing I could ask you was, how much do you guys like My Chemical Romance? Because I could tell, like, there was My Chem playing in there and
Yeah.
the grand theatrics of Opera Oblivia. And then you answered it and went, okay, thanks. Just,
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
no, that was on me because I just was not very social.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently me neither, by the sounds of that.
I think you were waiting for like a follow-up question. I was like, okay, bye.
Oh man, it's probably wasted as well.
Yeah.
I think we're all pretty heavy on the piece as well. back
Yeah.
then.
But I mean, that is an obvious touchstone for you, and it comes through on that record very, very, very strongly.
Yeah, big fan. Something about that. I feel like I'm doing it again. Yeah, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge is just something that's just the emotive. I guess like the like Queen-esque elements about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Lends it some like credibility that other bands that you would lump in with My Chemical Romance, like emo bands, you know.
Yeah.
That have that. It's very seldom heard, like that real kind of like true emotional spirit of that. In my eyes, anyway, the way I perceive it was kind of very different to your Taking Back Sundays and Finches and
Absolutely.
those sort of bands. There was something so much more, for want of a way better word, operatic about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like we can kind of get into this a little bit, but I think like there's the theatricality of the music, and then there's the theatricality of the lyrics and the storytelling. And in a band like My Chemical Romance, like not only is it instrumentally like grandiose and intricate and big and epic, but you know, like Gerard's lyrics and the world that he's painting through his songs are very vivid and kind of like transportative to take you into that world, which makes sense because he's like a comic book nerd at heart, and he's been doing that shit since he was like 10 years old. So like taking that and just grafting it into My Chem was like the secret sauce. So like when you guys were writing Opera and you're doing the lion's share of the lyric writing at that point, were you trying to tell a particular story? Were you trying to like come up with a like concept or narrative, or are they still just like snapshots of who you were at that point in time?
Closer to snapshots. It's never it's never really changed, man. Even The Bride, like back then, it's always just I'm never not writing really, like just the notes section of my phone, or just like, and you can imagine it's a shit fight in there.
Yeah.
And then I've got like a notepad,
Sure.
several of them going at once.
Because I know you did the like the poetry books as well through
Yes, yeah.
Agnes. So like obviously your stream of consciousness must be near constant and trying to like find avenues to get ideas down.
Yeah, it's maddening.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was no overarching sort of theme in mind. As sort of that kind of came together with Pat Fox, our artists, who we worked with on Indian Summer and Opera, Andrew. But his most famous work for us was Opera.
Yeah.
I think that it was his art that kind of gave it that element that really sort of, and even for me, because I hadn't conceived it to be a cohesive story, and it's not. But his art suggests that it could be, or it might, and even like you know, like I like to listen to it and think, and put myself in the perspective of Pat's art and the characters that he's drawn up and kind of the story that he had taken from it.
Yeah.
And that's and full credit to him, man, for him to have, you know, he listened to it and had his own perception in this beautiful, colorful world that he presented to us.
Well, we have a very fortunate moment where we have a fan of the band sitting right here. So, Chris, first time you heard Opera, having been a newfound fan in 2015 with Indian Summer. So you see the boat show, you see Hellions, you see the community, you're like, wow, that's a great band. I want to be a part of that community. And then a year later, they drop Opera. What was it like for you to hear that record for the first time?
Telling everyone I know to listen to it. It's to go back to it. It's the Black Parade and Jesus, not Jesus. What's the Green Day album? American Idiot. How did I forget that? It's those two albums of Australian music. It's the closest we've gotten.
Yeah.
It's maybe. I'm sure I'm missing something off the top of my head.
No, I think that's pretty close.
There's so much.
There must be. I'm at a loss now myself. I'm sure.
I said it and was like, oh man, some of my friends.
I'm sure plenty of people have had a crack, but
bro, I'm gonna get some messages probably going, hey man, what about my music? But yeah, no, it escalated that community sense as well, and especially because like, you know, people who love My Chem love My Chem. It's the same feeling, and it being able to tell some people that like you like My Chemical Romance, you will like aspects of this. Hopefully, like you some of it will click.
Yeah,
and a lot of the time it did. So it just blew that community up even more, and it was awesome. It was great. I knew more Hellions fans, which was really nice for me.
Nice for us too, man.
Yeah, but again, it was more of the heavy music being more than just heavy music. It was having a lot more to say than just, all right, everyone start swinging. It was also, I think, for a lot of people I've spoken to, like it's kind of like the Thinking Man's metalcore album, where you start to become introspective, at least for people around the same age as me. Granted, I'm 32, so I'm not far off you. Like that spectrum, a few years under and a few years above, I feel like a lot of people became more emotionally aware, which was a really cool side effect of it.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for saying that. I hope that's true. Like, I don't know if we're deserving of that.
It was, at least for me, for my brother, for my partner, for my Naz, the singer of Heaven's Gate. Like, that's three people we always talk about, like the impact Hellions had on a, I guess, smaller community at the time, and how it made that album in particular, because it's not a happy album. Like, you know what I mean?
Some moments, yeah.
Some moments, but like it is a very, like you're saying, there's snapshots of.
It's not a happy record, but there are joyous moments of it. And then when you start to peel the layers back and you read through the lyrics, there's darkness kind of all through there, which I think is like, that tension is always so good. And I think that's why emo music in general kind of resonates so well with people, is because it's like very dark lyricism with upbeat music, or like, you know, that dissonant kind of play is really kind of key. And I get that listening to Hellions. Like, it sounds upbeat, it sounds fun, there's big chants and everyone's having a great time. You read the lyrics and you're like, you guys are going through it. Fuck.
Yeah, a lot of different moving parts of that record.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. We should be so lucky to have 4 people, even just feeling that way about the record. I very much appreciate that. Thank you.
No, dude, thank you.
But yeah, talking about the different styles and influences on it. In terms of, we're talking about lyrics right now.
Yeah, sure.
I was in a generally optimistic place, I think, at that point in time for the lyrics. I mean, but like the 24, the bookends of the record, 24 and 25 are quite, always trying to make those, the 20s numbers really particularly optimistic. I think that's, because I feel like that's where things should always resolve. Like, that's just, and you know, that's the route that we want to get across, is that that's where you should be, and things are, you know, we're blessed to be here. Everything's not so bad, but in the middle, it's like, yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah.
So I'm never gonna see what I'm missing with eyes on my feet, and I'm never gonna call this a living. road and unhappy. How can I say I made a change when I'm getting further every day? I'm no one for this world. It's nice to know. So what we want are without celebrating. We're not so right for breathing cosmic debris. Oh, we can't see. I want vegetation is highest.
I think that's a good place to kind of talk about what came after. So, cards on the table. I had my first listen to Rue literally this afternoon.
Yeah,
I took
perfect.
I took Reese for a walk, and I was like, I don't think I ever listened to the Hellions record that came after Opera. I just remember Opera kind of like sucked all the oxygen out of the conversation. Like anytime people were talking about Hellions, they were talking about that record. And then I feel like whatever I was doing in 2018, I can't remember anymore. But I feel like that record just completely missed me. So in lieu of this chat, I was like, okay, I should go listen to the record that came after. And I think it might be my favorite. It might be better than Opera Oblivia. But I'm just gonna quietly put that out there. But I found the Unified video that you did where you were talking about lyrical inspirations for that record. And I feel like on this kind of notion of lyrical influence, it's a darker record than Opera.
Yeah, by a country mile.
I mean, like, this is the type of stuff that, you know, you're reading, like
Yeah.
philosophical pessimism. Like,
Bro, and did you buy that for this, or did you own that?
no, I own that.
Yeah. Can you tell me how you
Came across Ligotti.
Yeah.
So I really love True Detective, and Nick Pizzolatto, the creator and screenwriter of True Detective, read an interview. Chris is just taking it. He talked about inspirations for that first season of True Detective, and it was Thomas Ligotti, Conspiracy Against the Human Race, Eugene Thacker, and who's like another like prominent figure in philosophical pessimism, as well as like some Raymond Chandler stuff and a bunch of other stuff. But I'm a big literature guy. I did a uni degree in literature and philosophy, so like that sort of stuff is like catnip for me. I see like a guy who made a thing that I really like, and he was like, here's all this dark shit that I was reading to make that, and I was like, I need to read all of those things. So yeah, as much as I would like to say that was a prop for this chat, that's been sitting on the shelf for over a decade.
That's way cooler. That's so much cooler.
But I guess like, how does that type of like dark philosophy feed into where you're at for Rue and what came after with Opera?
So Opera being beforehand, I can't really remember what my intake was like at that time with what I was reading. Certainly more. Hermann Hesse is a big German author. You familiar?
Yeah.
I think it's pronounced Hesse.
Hess, yeah.
Yeah, he was huge for Indian Summer as well. Indian Summer and Opera. Loved his writing, and their translations too that I'm reading. I read several translations of a couple of his books, but like for the translations to be so beautiful, it almost makes you want to understand German or like learn German to have like take that in his native tongue because it was so affecting.
In my philosophy degree, a lot of the stuff that, particularly for like, say like existentialism or whatever, for like 20th century existentialism, you're basically reading like English translations of French philosophers who are writing about German philosophers. And like as an English speaker and reader, you get the sense that there's perhaps bits that are being lost like 3 levels deep in translation, which is enough to make me like feel like, man, I need to learn German just to like read the actual fucking text that they're talking
I got that
about.
feeling from like Camus, like reading that sort of stuff is kind of a little dense for me, or kind of just, or maybe it's just not my stuff.
Yeah, I mean it is dense. Camus dense for sure.
Yeah, there's something about like Steppenwolf was the first thing that I'd read from Hess, and that was even just the translation. I can't remember who had translated it, and we should remember that because that's a massive,
that's important.
Yeah, man,
they essentially write a whole new thing.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
and it's their heart in that too.
Yeah,
like they, all the little intricacies of the small changes. That, how much that does to a word or a sentence.
Yeah, for sure.
Fuck, where's it going? What am I talking about?
We were talking about moving from opera to Roue and like the darker tone of influences.
Yeah, man. So I got into this the same way that you did because I was such a big fan of True Detective.
That first season is goated.
Yes, it is.
I mean, the other stuff, watchable, but that first season, perfect.
You a fan yourself?
I need to rewatch it because I watched it at a time where I would describe myself as stupid. I was kind of just like, whoa, this is real creepy looking. Like, I'm sure if I watch it now, I would glean much more off of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Instead of just being because I think Hannibal was airing around the same
around that
time,
time. It's
and I just
2013.
wanted more weird cop stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it too much.
Yeah.
But I do like it, in short.
It's definitely worth a rewatch,
Yeah.
man. Like, I think I might have seen it like 8 times or something like that. I loved it.
Quick digression, Matt. Have you read any of Pizzolatto's other stuff? The guy who... Have you read Galveston?
So, yeah, I have read Galveston.
Fucking dark book.
Yes, it is. I really like the ending, and I loved.
The ending's fucked.
Yeah, knowing that he was like beside himself when he was writing it. Apparently, he was like sobbing, and kind of like the ending came to him, and he was like getting it out and like kind of like writing it, and that was kind of enough for me to really like appreciate it.
Have you seen the film adaptation?
I have, man, but I don't remember it very well, which I think speaks volumes.
Yeah, like the film is pretty rough, but I remember the book affecting me more.
Me too.
Yeah.
Is it Elle Fanning?
Yes, she's
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
she's the tragic kind of component of it. But anyway, sorry, I just had to get that digression
Yeah,
in there.
sure. I can actually. Have you read The Yellow King?
Yes. Yeah.
Ah.
That was all of the things that Nick was like talking about for True Detective. So I
Yeah.
like sought that one out and read it. I found it kind of obtuse and a little bit kind of like I expected it to have like some secret that would like unpack an element of True Detective, but there really isn't anything like linking the two. It's more of just like I think maybe like a vibe and a sense of dread and portent
Yeah.
that happens in the Yellow King that Nick kind of like takes into the screenwriting for True Detective and like has one of the like villain characters like talk about like the Yellow King and stuff. So
Yeah.
there's like a little Easter egg in there, but apart from that, like they're not really related in any way.
No.
So
But he did that to great effect. Like,
He did,
it's-
yeah.
When I reading that, I was just let it wash over me, like not really understanding. it.
yeah,
It was just
yeah,
kind of
that
just
was
the
that was
feeling,
my
like,
impression
I
too.
just really-
I remember reading it at uni and being like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to get out of this. It just makes me feel bad. And I think that's probably it. Like that you're supposed to just feel like shit reading it. So
Sorry, and your question was, getting onto that. That was so it was from True Detective, and then I went down the same rabbit hole that you did. And also with Arthur Schopenhauer.
oh yeah.
But I think that now that's he's like a philosophical.
I'm so glad you know that I didn't know.
I just shouldn't assume that
I
you-
do read,
Yes.
but it's like I've every time I go to read a book, it's just Train Spotting again or Fight Club. It's just those two back to back.
That's kind of I never go through Fight Club because that was a little. I love the film, seen that a million times.
Yeah,
The book was
yeah,
kinda
yeah.
like
It's-
20
it-
pages and I just-
I'll go out on a limb and say that the film is better than the
It
book.
is. It significantly is.
I love Chuck's work, and there's like a bunch of his stuff that I really enjoy, but I feel like Fincher just did like such a good job on that film that it's kind of like transcended the work.
Yeah.
And it's impossible because I saw the film first as like a kid and then like went back to the book when I was in like uni or whatever. And I think it's impossible to kind of do that, to kind of go back to the book having seen the film, like everything is through that lens and then
Yeah.
it comes up short. But that
Yeah.
was just
I
my
mean,
experience.
against
Anyway.
that like fantastic script and acting. And
Yeah,
it's-
incredible.
And
like
the, and the music, everything. It's
all
like,
of it.
it's just
goated film.
incredible.
Very, very good.
But yeah, I do read. I do read.
You had it here, folks.
I-
Chris does read.
I do have the Yellow King on my shelf ready to read. It's
Yeah,
just
right.
I drive the tour van, so
Yeah, true.
I can't do this.
Maybe there's like an audiobook and it'll just make you crash the van because
Oh,
it's
good.
it's fucking dark as
That
hell.
sounds great.
Oh man, but that, Arthur Schopenhauer is kind of that is, I would say that Nietzsche is more kind of like so much like endlessly brighter than Schopenhauer, like because there's a little bit of a, at least with Nietzsche, there's like a you find happiness in the least thing precisely. It's kind of acknowledging that all of this thought is kind of for naught, and if you just just like that, be in the moment and with the just, the physicality is where it's at, not all of the endless ideas in this fucking constant stream.
Yeah.
I was very much into Love True Detective and really went through Conspiracy of the Human Race, and as you know, it is such a fucking dark, very involving and very brilliant, but so harrowing.
Bleak.
Yeah, dude. And Schopenhauer is like that. I think that if I'm correct, Ligotti looks up to Schopenhauer, or kind of like that's one of his influences. Yeah, my God, man, just like we should walk out hand in hand into extinction. That's like a.
I mean, the character of Rost is just like dropping all of these pearlers that are essentially just lifted straight from Ligotti and from Schopenhauer and a bunch of other figures, but incredible character and incredible performance. But so much of that is just like complete like paraphrasing almost from the text, which is cool.
I'm glad that he didn't change anything because the show is perfect. But McConaughey makes it so romantic, and I think that I don't know what it was about that stage of my life, but I really went down that, and I kind of and to my detriment, big time. Like it was, I mean, clearly, and particularly the song X Marks, like the single that we did. It's like I love that song. We all like have a good time with that, but it is so. The lyrics are suicidal.
Yeah, I was listening again today and was like dancing, but looking at the Apple lyrics like slowing down. Oh, I don't feel so good.
Well, that's the kind of that's the dissonant thing that I was talking about, right? Because like I did that today. Like I watched the music video. Music video is great. You get a sense of the visuals. You're listening to the instrumentation. It's quite a bright, upbeat kind of like song, and then you read the lyrics and you're like, oh. This is a different kind of tonal shift, and that happens a lot throughout Rue. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe there was just more kind of grabbing me on that record than my first pass through Opera years ago, and I've listened to it again since, obviously. But for whatever reason, I feel like I missed the boat a second time, and I didn't listen to Rue when it came out when I should have, because clearly we were reading a lot of the same stuff and we were influenced by the same stuff. So like I feel like that record would have resonated with me as it has now today.
Thank you for listening to it today.
That's all right, dude.
I love Rue. It was definitely we were haunted by the success of Opera big time, because we were just. What you saw on the boat that day is how we saw ourselves. Like we're just a punk band who fucking loves music.
Yeah.
Like we all, Dre Anthony and I, and Josh as well, who was new at that time. It's like we loved everything and told each other about everything, and just not limited by genre at all. Like we'll listen to what our parents listened to, and really respected that and delved real deep into that as well as punk and hardcore. And then the melodic side of things. And then Opera, was a very natural birth. and then we got a ARIA nomination and a number 4 record, like overall, which is just like from nothing. Like
it was huge.
Credit to Unified, our label at the time, like for their support.
I mean, they pushed that record very hard, and with good reason. So they obviously knew they had a good thing going. So
and so very thankful for them for having seen that. But it was a shock, like all being played on Triple J. So we didn't know how to sing, dude. Like until we wanted.
You guys did like a version.
Yeah. And
that's wild.
We sang in the studio because we kind of. Like this melody is sick and this will be great. It's like we'll all just sing it together and that's how got started. It's like have a drink, and then we'll all get together, and it's like, you can together as a crowd, you belt out. Pitch sort of finds itself.
Yes. Yeah.
We weren't trained singers. And Thresher, if you listen to it, my voice is tuned pretty hard. Like it's, we made the melody and the words, and I'm very proud of that song and everything. But it was our imagination enhanced by the belief of our producer, and we made this beautiful product that grew bigger than us. And then the next record, it's like, well, what the fuck do we do now?
Incredibly difficult to top that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, so we were a little bit haunted by that coming in. So it was a little bit more stilted.
Yeah.
The creation of Room. Kind of, we felt that pressure. It's like, we got to make we got to make a hit.
Yeah.
We'll make another Thresher and another, and do it better and do it different and but it's got to be poppy. It's got to be radio friendly. And
yeah, it's a lot of weight and expectation coming off the back of that.
I'm ready to run, are you ready? If we can shut the fuck up, maybe we can learn to swap for once. I'm ready to run, are you ready? And we will cut something to say, living in a human inertia, right? Ready, I'm ready to run, are you ready?
I guess to kind of wrap up the main chat here, let's talk about kind of where the band is at with the new material, because like after Rue dropped, the band kind of split or went on hiatus or whatever, and you left the band, and then they played a number of shows without you, and then obviously, like we've touched on, you've now rejoined the band. That core lineup is back, and you're writing and recording new material. So, like, what does it feel like to be in the room writing new stuff? Like you said, you're always writing. So, where is your head at with what Hellions will look like in 2026 and beyond? And then maybe, like, what's the band's perception of that?
So I got started, pardon me, as soon as Anthony and I had that conversation this time last year, I pretty well got started immediately, and it was kind of like a floodgate breaking straight away, because I hadn't written anything heavy or played in. We tuned to drop B. I hadn't played in that tuning in 10 years, so kind of going from standard with like capos and shit, going back down to that. It was kind of like a new. And also, I wrote all of the old Hellion stuff with Guitar Pro. I don't know if you guys know.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I barely understand it, but I do know.
So, are you familiar with it at all?
I mean, vaguely, yeah. I know what it is. I've never used it.
It's MIDI. It sounds like Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Like you kind of just you make a track for your guitars and your drums.
Right.
And you type in the numbers on the string and it makes a noise.
Okay.
Like beeps your melody at you sort of thing.
Interesting.
And I'd written the Hellions records using that, to document what I'm writing. And so I started using Logic at the behest of Shane, our producer, only this time last year.
Yeah, wow.
And so picking up that guitar again and dropped B, and this excitement and the heightened emotion of having your brothers back, which I couldn't have anticipated how powerfully that would affect me.
For sure.
And in turn, of course, the music. So that was like washing out into. It's true, man. It's like when the heart opens, it's like what it does to what you are creating is monumental.
Yeah.
It goes. And so all of this wonderful, in my humble opinion, wonderful stuff was flowing out of me. And also this new playground of using Logic or using a DAW for the first time, a digital audio workstation. Like I sort of just too hard basket that my whole life. Just like, I don't understand that shit. I'm never going to be able to. But it's a whole playground of infinite fucking creativity. And at this stage, sort of learned it at that stage with that heightened emotion. It kind of was just like, oh my God.
I have the resources and the will.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So we got 20 demos.
Fuck. On Lachlan's podcast, you mentioned, I think you hadn't left for Thailand yet, but you said that there wasn't really any expectation on like a release or any kind of particular kind of like structure to it. You were just going to record whatever you guys had and maybe do some singles and stuff. Has that changed? Is there like an idea of a release in mind, or are you still just, you've got some songs and you guys will figure out what to do with it down the line?
When's this coming out?
I'm going to do it the week before the tour.
Oh, okay. Well, we're looking at putting out a song that week if all goes according to plan.
Oh shit! You and I will have some DMs to kind of talk about that after this. But okay, cool.
We can talk about it. It's no problem.
Yeah.
But recording it, we went over to Shane, the guy that we've been recording with since we were kids.
Sure.
And he just wanted to listen through to everything that we had. So we listened through to all those demos. I think it might have been 16 at that point in time in January.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was such a beautiful thing. Like, they don't sound, but like, Logic is wonderful for me, but it doesn't sound wonderful. I don't know how to mix it yet. Or
It's not fully realized. It's very raw.
Yeah. And only, perhaps only he and the guys in the band could appreciate how the creativity in it and the potential in it. So it was beautiful to listen through everything with them and kind of assess what's going to be best after 8 years of not putting out a song. It's like which style, and I painted from, because of our nature, it's like paint from every angle, every genre. It's like whatever we can perceive, like rap, R&B, metal, like whatever the fuck. I like what I like. Melody, I want to put it in a blender. I want to make whatever.
I feel like Hellions, like with your discography and this kind of like communal kind of backing that Chris has been touching on, like you can literally do whatever you want. Like I truly don't think that there's anything that you could release that people would be like, oh, that's not Hellions, I'm not fucking with that. Like I feel like you could pretty much do just about anything. Like if you're dropping like a country record, people would be like, okay, let's go. Like
that's probably the only thing I don't have the capacity for. I love country.
Yes.
Humbly, I don't know if I'm good enough.
Yeah, but I feel like that genre agnosticism is a healthy thing to have at this point in your career, and with this newfound kind of like creative energy, like just take all the shackles off.
Yeah.
Just like pour it out on the Dow and see what happens.
Yeah, but I think it's healthy for any creative conduit if you to get rid of any barriers or any kind of cage as you perceive it, or just any limitation. If you can push it. Like, make it your own. Make it something fucking unique as much as you can. Pardon me, but we listened through all those songs, and then Shane had a system of sort of marking which of the songs is most he thought had the most potential, and then going further than that, like parts within songs. And so we walked away with 2 songs only, but it was a very hard thing. Like, how are we going to present ourselves coming back?
Of course. It's something you don't want to, I guess you don't want to rush, right? Like you want to make sure that everyone's on the same page and that everyone's happy and that you're kind of all kind of got like a unified kind of like front on doing it. So, I mean, I'm sure the songs are kick ass. Like you gotta go in there with all of your options available to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got 2 in the bag. Pardon me. We got a heavy one and a more melodic one.
Okay, nice. Kind of bridging the gap between the old and the new.
Yeah, I think so. That's probably the best way to put it. Or just like those are our 2. The extremities of our nature. Oh, maybe not the extremities, but just like I guess like the primary polarity, I guess.
The yin and the yang of Hellions.
A broad yin and yang.
Yeah.
What we came out with.
Sick. Well, I'm excited to hear it. I know this man is excited to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for you.
We're going to wrap up the main show here. I will have links in the show description for the tour dates. Follow the band, check out the new stuff, all that business. It'll all be in there. Matt, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Chris, thanks for coming through.
It was just nice to see you again.
Yeah, it's nice to see you too. Thank you.
Hello, Owen popping in to say, please sign up for the TPD Patreon. This is what helps us keep the lights on and keep the show going. The link is at the bottom of your screen right now, patreon.com/tpdpod. All of our patrons get exclusive access to Side B of our roundup episodes, so you get a few extra tracks, as well as our feature album discussion and the full show experience. Patrons also get exclusive access to behind-the-scenes, off-the-cuff chit-chat from all of our guest episodes. But the patrons are the ones who make all of this happen. For as little as $5 a month, you can sign up to the TPD Patreon, and it really helps us out, really helps us keep the show going. So shout out to all of our patrons, shout out to our executive producer patrons, you're the real ones, and yeah, thank you so much for watching the show.